Hi, and welcome to a digital book talk from Massanutten Regional Library. Today's book talk is intended for our middle grade readers. Last month, I talked to you about reading challenges and shared with you some books from the decade 1910 to 1919. So this month, I'm moving on with that reading challenge, and I have some books set in the years 1920 to 1929. So we have something that involves the Harlem Renaissance, we have Ship of Dolls that involves Japan, and we have one that involves the Tulsa race riots. So join me for this book talk. Our first book today is Ship of Dolls, this one right here, by Shirley Parenteau. It is book number 1 of a 3-book series, and the series is called The Friendship Dolls. The year is 1926, and our main character is 11-year-old Lexi. Lexi is having a difficult time adjusting to her new life with her grandparents in Portland, Oregon. You see, her father has died in a car accident, her mother has remarried, and now she's left her to live with her grandparents. So Lexi is still grieving the loss of her father. She's missing her mother, a fun-loving, freewheeling, but somewhat neglectful woman who is referred to as a flapper, which is a term used in the 1920s to describe some women and how they dressed. In addition, Lexi has trouble making friends at school, and she's finding conforming to her grandmother's old-fashioned set of rules quite a challenge. So when Lexi's school offers a writing contest in which the winning student will get to accompany a handmade friendship doll to a celebration in San Francisco, Lexi is determined to win that contest, because winning it means, in her mind, reuniting with her mother. So there's a series of white lies, a stolen contest entry, and an unexpected trip to San Francisco, all of which will throw Lexi's own life into turmoil as she struggles to find happiness and do the right thing. So the friendship doll aspect of this story is based on a historical occurrence. Amid growing international tensions, more than 12,000 dolls were created by school children across the nation, and they were shipped to Japan as a gesture of peace. So there are some real elements, so it is a work of historical fiction. And like I said, it is one of 3, so you can find out more if you choose to read Ship of Dolls. So the second book I have for you today is Lena and the Burning of Greenwood, a Tulsa Race Massacre survival story. This was written by Nikki Shannon Smith, and it is also part of a series. The series is called Girls Survive. In this book, we have 12-year-old Lena. She's aware of racism, but she lives a comfortable life in the segregated but relatively wealthy Greenwood district in Tulsa, Oklahoma. On May 31st, 1921, racial tensions exploded in that city, and men from downtown Tulsa invaded Greenwood, set on killing and destroying the district. The story is told from Lena's point of view, and readers are going to learn a little bit about the African American community of Greenwood, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. Lena, who lives in Greenwood with her mother and father and 16-year-old sister Cora, her father often reminds the family that we have everything we need in Greenwood. You see, at the beginning of the story, Lena is really hoping to go to downtown Tulsa to see the Memorial Day parade. And Dad's like, why? Why would we do that? We have everything we need here. We don't need to go downtown. And he will remind them of that multiple times. There are shops aplenty in Greenwood, libraries, schools, parks, and most importantly, a sense of community. And then on that day, Lena's family hears whispers about somebody named Dick Rowland, a local black man who was accused of assaulting a white woman. And as racial tensions heighten, the residents of Greenwood fear white retribution for the alleged assault. The book moves through chapters showing us what time it is during the day so that we have that idea of just how quickly these events occurred. We see that violence escalates. Lena and her parents and her sister are searching desperately for a safe place to hide from the mob. And the story ends with Lena's family and her community trying to piece together what little remains of their lives and their belongings in Greenwood. So my last book for you today is a nonfiction book. Take a Picture of Me, James Van Der Zee, by Andrea J. Loney. So, James Van Der Zee really lived. He's a real person. This book is about him. It happened with a click. As a young boy in Lenox, Massachusetts, James Van Der Zee is introduced to a new device, a device called the camera, and it changes his life. Van Der Zee was only the second person in his town to own a camera. His love of his family and neighbors fueled his passion. He saw what was special in everyone and captured each person's story on film. Ready for adventure, James moves to Harlem at age 18. And of course, that means he's going to be in Harlem in the 1920s for the Harlem Renaissance, a big factor in that decade. He works odd jobs until he's able to establish himself as a studio and a street photographer, depicting the African Americans in Harlem, from politicians to musicians to sports heroes, and from the middle class as well as the more commonly photographed rich and poor folks. When cameras become readily available later to consumers, his skills fall from favor, because at that point anybody can take a picture as long as they can own a camera. And it's not until years later when an exhibition called Harlem on My Mind presents his collected work. That's when he receives the recognition that he deserves as an innovative African-American photographer of the Harlem Renaissance. So I present to you a chance to read a totally true story, but it is done as a picture book, which I hope does not turn you off, because it's still a great way to get information about a person's life, and one of my favorites, honestly. So I have Ship of Dolls, I have Lena and the Burning of Greenwood, and we have Take a Picture of Me, James Van Der Zee. Regardless of what you choose to read today, I hope you find something enjoyable. Happy reading.